I want to welcome everybody here to this very prestigious event. I like to say that this is kind of like the Academy Awards and the Nobel Prize for Hamvention Radio. It's a very, very important invocation. I'll speak about a little bit of the details later. I want everybody to enjoy their meal, and in about 40 minutes or so, and we may not be done, but I will begin to kick off the presentation at that point. So if everybody would, and I'd like to first of all call Michael Coulter up for the invocation.
I'll extend my welcome to everyone as well. Thank you for being here. And I did want to mention, too, that after the meal is done, we will have the curators coming in to open up the museum after we're done with this. Anyway, we are a mixed group of people, probably different religions, different beliefs. But I think it's time that we always like to say thank you to the Creator in any way that you see fit. But it's important that we do that, in my opinion. If you don't believe in a Creator, that's fine too. But if we just take this moment and we think about, all the people that we've known that have passed in the last year, all the trouble and strife that we have in the year, we ask the Creator to be with us, and to extend the brotherhood, the friendship throughout the world in amateur radio, and that we extend to each other and to all that we know that kindness and beauty that is in amateur radio. So if we take a moment of silence, please. Thank you.
A few people as well. We've got some very special people here that is in attendance in addition to our choice of award winners. First of all, I want to introduce Ron Moorfield, which is sitting back in the back here, and just a moment about. Now, Ron's been a general chair of Hamvention, but he also has attended every, no? Okay, but he's attended every Hamvention. I'm sorry, he's a historian. There you go. Is that right? Attended every Hamvention since the beginning of the process, and a past president, so Ron. I'm not going to go through names, but we've got general chairs here. If you just stand up for a second and be recognized. General chairs. And we've got the members of our board of directors, please. Our board. Same people. And then lastly, our award team, please. All of you that have been on the award team. So we're ambidextrous. We share a lot of these things here. In the book area, there's a book called The Grand Eccentrics, and it's written about Dayton, Ohio, and some of the famous people here. If you get a chance, I don't know if it's going to be open to buy it there, but it's available later. But for some of you, all of you from outside of Dayton, you may or may not know this, and you may have wondered why we've got Hamvention here in the first place. And it starts way back with these Grand Eccentrics. Of course, you know there's Wilbur and Orville, and just for a moment, all of you are from out of town. I don't know if you know this, but one of the original aircraft is preserved just right down the sidewalk here. But we've had other people, Charles Taylor, who invented the engine, Patterson, and Kettering. And Kettering had a number of inventions, as well as a number of inventions have been developed over the past 150 years in the area. In the triangle defined by Columbus, Cincinnati, and Dayton, at one time there were more patent attorneys in this area than any other place in the United States. We still have a lot of that going on here. Some notable inventions, of course, is the airplane, the electric starter, the aircraft engine, what was known as no-knock gasoline or leaded gasoline at the time, the ice tray, the refrigerator, step ladders, cash register, and there's a whole collection of them back here from National Cash Register. And believe it or not, one of the first massive computers It was built in World War II. The first one was built in Bletchley Park, and then very secretly, another one was built here in Dayton to break the Enigma code. That spawned a lot of different companies like General Electric, General Motors, Delco or Delphi, Procter & Gamble, and a plethora of other companies. And of course, with the invention of the aircraft, Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, which is still a very, very strong employer and the largest employer in the state of Ohio. But as a result of having these type of companies and these type of inventions came technical type people. We call them geeks today, but they all came out of that group. And as a result, we had a large number of amateur radio operators here as well. And so Hamvention really blossomed from the great eccentrics, if you will. We've been running this Hamvention for, 52 years? Someone help me. 64 years. Okay. I'm thinking about ARR. No, it's not that. Okay, anyway. The awards date back quite a ways as well. We have been given in the past 3 awards: a Special Achievement Award, Technical Award, and Amateur of the Year, and more recently we've added on Club of the Year because we felt that was very, very important as well. The clubs owe a lot to bringing forth youth as well. But to the award winners, as I said earlier, Nobel Prize, that type of thing. You're really in a group of very, very honorable people. For example, going back in the Amateur of the Year, Barry Goldwater, who was a senator and really, really promoted amateur radio. Carol Perry, who's here today. Where are you, Carol? Back here. Carol started way back introducing AM radio as an educational tool, and although she's retired from educational work in New York now, she's going across the United States promoting ham radio and also intertwining it with science, technology, engineering, and math, which is in a very important area that we want to emphasize with the youth today. We had Roy Neal, Bill Pasternak, Rosada White, who I don't see her much anymore, but she did a lot of work with ARRL in the past. Allison Hawley, a visually impaired individual that got blind hams involved in amateur radio. Gordon West, Gordo, he's around still today promoting and educating ham radio. Ward Silver, who is an excellent author, technical author. Shirley Roberts, another visually impaired amateur radio operator that did a lot of public service. Mr. S. Suri, who was supposed to be here this evening, didn't make it. He is really the Hiram Percy Maxim of India. There's a lot of detail on why there's not a lot of amateur radio active in India, but he's promoting it and trying to move it on. In the world of special achievement, we had John Krause, who wrote the book on antennas, which is still used today. Dr. Owen Garriott, who introduced amateur radio to the space program, and we're still running that today in the International Space Station. And Ed Hare out of ARRL, who has had his heads down trying to help with radio interference. And then Richard Garriott, who is Owen's son, who promoted education in the space program. And David Sumner, who was president of ARRL. That was just last year. Doug DeMall, I'll name Doug DeMall, Lou McCoy, Lou McFadden, William Orr, all excellent authors in the area of technology. Robert Brunanga, who developed packet radio. Copthorne McDonald, who developed slow scan television. So this is just naming a few of the top award winners that you all are now members of today. Thank you. So with that, I'd like to call on our general chair to present the first award, and then we're going to pause for a while and have dessert, and then we'll crank back up at 7:30 and continue the awards. Thank you.
A very good evening to you. I hope you can hear me. I've lost a little bit of voice, but I'm getting it back by talking with Tim, getting to know him a little bit. The Amateur of the Year for 2015. Tim Duffy, K3LR. Tim has been instrumental in doing many things for amateur radio, but one of the things that he really is wanting to be known for, as I've had a conversation with him, is giving back. This, I think, is really something of a theme that we all have. Dayton Amateur Radio Association, Hamvention itself is wanting to do the same as that. But on to Tim. He is president of Mercer County Amateur Radio Club, executive vice president, Radio Club of America. 32 years, the Antenna Forum, 23 years, Dayton Contest Dinner, this year being honored this evening. Tim, it is my extreme pleasure to present to you the Dayton Amateur Radio Association Hamvention Amateur of the Year for 2015. And would you say a few words for us, please?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, here we go.
Thank you, Jim. I want to thank the awards committee and all of the members of the Dayton Amateur Radio Association for this outstanding award. I've been coming to Hamvention since 1973. I was 13 years old the first time I came. And I've only missed one. It was in 1978 when there was a terrible problem in my household. The Pennsylvania Junior Academy of Science was having the state science fair, and I was invited to present my senior paper. It was on repeaters, interestingly enough. But I had made the decision, and I went to my father and I said, I don't want to go to the science fair, I want to go to Dayton. He had encouraged me in this hobby. He was never a ham, although he tried several times, and times that I didn't even know that he was trying to become a ham. He supported me throughout, but he vetoed that decision. And that year, not only did I go on to win first place, I also won a scholarship from Westinghouse, which was his employer, to go to college. And so that was one of a number of great things that happened in my life because of this hobby. And I had dedicated myself to giving back because others gave unto me and others supported me. Barney Scholl, K3LA, his wife, Cookie, K3LEA. Barney, when he was fresh out of law school and I was 13 years old, taught me how to wire wrap and how to build circuits. And he has been a trusted friend ever since. Sandy, DL1QQ, who was the first YL to ever qualify for the World Radio Team Championship last year, asked me to help her in her quest as a technical advisor, and she finished 21st out of 52 teams. I'm not being sexist here, but there were a lot of guys wondering what the heck just happened that were behind her. And to Michael, DL6MHW, Contest University, which started here in Dayton 9 years ago with 150 students, now enjoys over 4,000 students in 8 different countries. Michael piloted Contest University Germany and did it 4 times. And I am very grateful to Michael. Then there's Terry. Terry has been a big part of my life at DX Engineering for the last 2 years, since I moved back to Pennsylvania full-time. Terry has been a strong supporter of mine, both in a business and also as a friend. Terry just passed her extra last week, and I'm very, very proud of that. I am the reason that this dinner is sort of out of sync tonight, because for the first time in 23 years, I am not hosting the dinner that I started 23 years ago, which started at 6:30 this evening at the Crown Plaza. There are 500 people in attendance at the contest dinner this year, and our featured speaker is Kay Craigie, N3KN, the ARRL president. And so we have a limo outside that will whisk us away back to the Crown Plaza here in a few minutes. To those of you in attendance, I thank you for your support. I only ask one thing of you, that you do your very best to give back to this hobby that we all love so much. If we all give back and encourage others to give back, this hobby will continue on and continue on strong into the future, which is what we all want. I thank you for your friendship and your support.
I'd now like to turn the floor over to Don DeBont, who is going to present the Club of the Year award. We shifted things around because Don's also has an event he's got to run to. So, Don, please. Okay.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Don DeBont, N6JRL, the president of DARA. Like many other people, during this time, this weekend with Hamvention, many of us have to be at many places at one time, like Tim Duffy, and I'm included. I'd like to talk a little bit about clubs, just for a few seconds. I was in a club when I was 16 years old. That kept me off the streets. However, the club nicknamed myself and the other young hams in the group the Juvenile Delinquents. And they lovingly called us that, but we were not gang members or trouble. So I've been in clubs ever since I've been in ham radio since 1963. Matter of fact, I don't think you all know this, but I was the past president of the OARC. Not their OARC, not the Orlando Amateur Radio Club. I was the president of the OARC in Jacksonville, North Carolina, the Onslow Amateur Radio Club, for a couple of years while I was in the military. Coming here, I've been the president. This will be my third time. Right now, while I'm president, it's the third time I've been the president, and I'm up for election again. Hopefully, I'll be reelected, along with the rest of my board, and Michael and Nancy. But clubs are important, and we've got to bring up youth in our clubs. And I've been talking to the Orlando club members here, and they assure me they are doing stuff with teaching of youth. I'm also involved in youth communications. I take youth DXing every year in the summertime when they're out of school. And the club, DARA Club, has supported that. Carol Perry has supported me a great deal. I spoke at most of her seminars and forums and stuff, both here and in Friedrichshafen, Germany. And Carol, I really appreciate your support and everybody's support. And Michael, this is a sad time for me because I remember David every time we go and every time we have the youth thing. That's why I wore this shirt in honor of David. I would like to bring up now the Orlando Amateur Radio Club members that have joined us tonight and present them with the Club of the Year Award. Please. Thank you, David. Comes apart. You got to be careful. I can't hold it up and shake it. It'll fall down and break. John, I guess you are going to accept tonight, and I will give this to you, and you can say a few words to the club. And thank you very much for all that you do, and thank you for coming here from Orlando, and thank you for being nominated. I have nothing to do with these nominations. This is done by the committee. So I congratulate you and present you with this award. Thank you. That's not the problem. I've got extra time. Good.
This is actually our first visit to Hamvention, and it's been a great visit. I wasn't really prepared for a speech this evening, but you know, when we got off the plane Thursday night, everything's running together right now. Thursday night, Dave met us at the plane at the gate, and it was really appreciative to be there. We encourage you guys to come to Hamcation next year. Next year is our 70th anniversary for Orlando Hamcation, and we are planning some big things. Can't go into details yet. Got to finalize them first. But we'd like for you guys to take a look at the website and invite you guys down to Orlando in February, where the weather is usually fairly mild. We do get rain every once in a while. This past February was actually a great hamcation. We didn't have any rain and stuff. So we appreciate this award on behalf of the Orlando Hamcation and the Orlando Amateur Radio Club. And we look forward to seeing hopefully everybody next year in February.
Thank you, everyone. And like Tim Duffy, I must take my leave here. Please enjoy the rest of this and enjoy your tour in this wonderful museum and enjoy your stay in Dayton, Ohio. Thank you very much.
My name is Rick Allnut, WSAG. It's my privilege to go ahead and introduce the technical award for the year, specifically for George Dobbs, who has been involved in amateur radio a long time. He and I have been both coming to the Dayton Hamvention for about 20 years now, but he got his amateur radio license back when I was in the second grade. I'm not the youngest guy in the room. And so he's been doing this for a little while. He's been having such a good time doing this because he enjoys sharing all of this with many people. He enjoys sharing it with kids. He enjoys putting together kits and helping people learn how to do that. Hosting groups where there are build-a-thons and people go ahead and put lots of things together all at one time. He's been writing about this for a while. George shared with me that he's put out a monthly article about a new kit of one sort or the other. Well, let me see. It's for the last 40 years plus an additional 10 years after about a 5-year break in between. So 50 years of creating these articles with ways to be able to build things. Most of it's been published in Great Britain, not on this side of the Atlantic, and so some of us haven't seen all of those things. But he now has the problem of trying to come up with enough new ideas after 50-some articles that he's written of how to do this. This all started when kits were one kind of kit, where the sort of thing that I used to build when I was a youngster, where you'd have holes that were punched through boards and traces and lots of soldering. But he's moved into much fancier, newer kinds of technology, ways to be able to use surface mount technology with discrete components, using various kinds of kits that others had also talked about, but he's used all of those in his current articles. In fact, many of his current articles are new and better ways to be able to build the sorts of kits that he was talking about building back a number of years ago. It's my pleasure to bring him forward and to be able to present this to him and to give him the chance to be able to tell you all about his great love of sharing this technical part of our hobby. So let's shake hands, and I'm used to saluting people at this stage, but we won't do that. But let's hold this, and they tell me that it comes apart easily. Take this off to the side.
Please do, yeah.
You're welcome to tell us a little bit about this.
we've been coming. I've been engaged for Hamvention since 1982, I think. And in that time, I've missed 2 of them. And I've attended a number of other ones. We've attended everywhere from the west coast to the northeast coast. And everywhere I've been, I find that there's quite a hunger for the practicalities of the hobby, building things, doing things with equipment you've built yourself. And actually, Colin is an avid builder of stuff. I've known him for 30 years, and I steal because there's a lot of outlets. People can build things, people can go on the air, people can go on awards. There are no end of things that we can do, all under the same kind of remit, a hobby that is open to all who care to join it. And the strange thing I've found is that wherever I've been, I find friendly people. Look at this. Place is absolutely full of friendly folk. And the other thing that amazes me is I have never received a day of training in this at all. Never received any formal training in electronics. It's all stuff that I did because I wanted to. Right from the age of about 8 or 9, I've been soldering. Oh, the one thing I failed in, an enormous failure. I've yet to teach this nation to say soldering. They keep on saying soldering. And if I one day find that I walk into a room where people are talking about soldering, that would be the right place to be. Thank you so much.
Good evening, everyone. This evening I would like to present the Special Achievement Award. This recognizes the 14 years of service that Tom Medlin, W5KUB, has provided through the W5KUB.com, a worldwide webcast of live ham radio events. From his start as helmet cam man, he has grown the webcast to cover all aspects of amateur radio, from events like the Dayton Hamvention to field day, vendor tours, special technical discussions, and special events such as K6H from the stage of The Last Man Standing in Hollywood. This webcast recently added a weekly live amateur radio program which remotely brings in guests from around the world. And then I would like to present Tom Medlin.
Okay. Thank you, Nancy, very much. Beautiful award. And I'd like to thank the Dayton, or DARA, for selecting us for this special award. I was really surprised when Michael called me a couple weeks ago and told us that we won the award. I didn't know why you guys selected us, but obviously we're getting our theme is bringing ham radio to you, and we're getting that message out, I think, to a lot of people. Michael told me, I originally told Michael that I usually talk about an hour and 15 minutes, and I understand tonight you're under a very short time frame, so I'll try to hold it down to about 45 minutes. But I got my license when I was 16 years old. So I've been a ham now for about 51 years. And I've seen a lot of things change in technology over the years. And one of the biggest changes, of course, is the internet and how that has opened up being able to take this message to people around the world. And, you know, by going to shortwave now, simulcasting our live webcast on shortwave, we're actually reaching a lot of shortwave listeners around the world. And I think many of us in here started ham radio as a shortwave listener. That's the way I did. I'd like to thank especially my wife, Kathy, for helping in this. Freddie Diaz has been a great help in this webcast. And John Patchett, who's back working the camera back there. Well, I'd like to just give you just a real brief recap of what we do. We started out as a helmet cam. It was pretty bad. Connectivity was bad back in those days, and we wore the helmet cam. We turned our head too much. Everybody got dizzy, seasick, and it was a failure. So we kind of went to more of a fixed camera, and that helped out a whole lot. So, but we try to do a lot of special events. We had the Hollywood thing out with John Amadeo in Hollywood. That was a big success. A lot of people saw that. And again, our motto is bringing ham radio to you, and that's what we like to do. And we have expanded it now into our weekly series of amateur radio roundtable, where we try to get hams from all over the world to join. We bring people in by Skype as guests, and I'm looking for any of you guys that would like to be on our Tuesday night show, wherever you are. Michael's been on it, I think last week, and he was on it. We had the people from Nepal also on there through Skype on our show last week, talking about the Nepal earthquake. It's been fun. We've had a lot of fun with it, and it really puts you in a very particular position at times. I'll give you one short story that this table has already heard, so they can go to sleep if they want to. But I think it's worth you hearing to just to see what trouble this can get you into. We webcast our drive. When we go 10-hour drive from Memphis to here, we're live. People around the world are watching. I'm not going to talk about the time we got pulled over, 89 and a 70. People around the world were watching. But I met my friend, astronaut Doug Wheelock, a couple years ago. Talked to him 30 times 1 month. And I sent him famous Memphis barbecue for his first meal when he landed. And we drove back from Dayton one night, and my friend John back there wanted to go to the famous barbecue place and see it. I said, John, we've just drove 10 hours. We're 3 miles from home. Now I want to go by and see this famous Corky's barbecue. So we go in there, and he takes the camera in, and we're screaming live, you know. And we look really funny. And security comes up to us. Well, what are you doing? So now here's where it really gets bad. Security says, what are you doing? Well, we're showing this. We have a TV show, and people around the world watching. You know, so, and that didn't go over good. Didn't believe it. And so we said, well, you know, we talked to astronauts up in the space station. And you know. And I said, you know, we sent him Memphis Corky's barbecue for his first meal. We were in Corky's barbecue place. We sent him barbecue for his first meal when he landed on Earth. And you know. So they weren't believing us. So we finally got out of there. And by the time we got in the parking lot, the manager comes running out. She received a call from Australia, a guy wanting to order barbecue. So that's the kind of trouble we get into. And I've got hundreds of stories like that, but I'm not going to get into any more stories. But thank you very much. Let me just say one more thing. We do this because, like, when I was 16 years old, I grew up in a little town, 900 people, no other hams. And, you know, when you're 16 years old, you don't have the means sometimes to go to Dayton or go to Hamfest because you don't have the money, you don't have a car. Maybe your parents aren't hams, they can't take you. Maybe you're sick, maybe you're very old, maybe you don't have the money, maybe it's just too far. So what our webcast does is to bring special ham radio events to the people watching. And we've got some loyal people. They'll watch. We'll be live for 5 full days. there will be people that will watch 40 or 60 hours without taking a break. They won't even hardly go to the bathroom. They just, they won't even take a break. And one of the things we do, we give away probably more prizes to our viewers than a lot of Hamfests give out at a Hamfest. And I think that keeps the interest. Toward the end of these events, when our prizes run out, the people kind of run out too, But yeah. But it's been a lot of fun. I want to thank all you guys for choosing us for the award. Thank you.